Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It's Candy here from SweetStamper.com. And I'm so happy to be with you here today. We did some watercoloring last week. And I'm kind of staying in that same mode. Hopefully you are having a good week. We are on Thursday, so we're near the end of the week. And hopefully you have some good plans for the weekend. I know I do. And, you know, some people are on a real Monday to Friday schedule. Other people, not so much. But yeah, we are, the weekend is upon us. So I do a weekly Thursday night stamping here on facebooklive.com/sweetstamper. And I download this to YouTube. And so if you are watching the replay on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. And if you are watching on Facebook, I would love for you to give me a few hearts, give me a thumbs up, and be sure to follow or subscribe to my Facebook page. Hey, Kelly, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Pam, welcome, welcome. So I don't know about you guys. I've had a super busy day and excited about doing a little bit of stamping, and then I'm going to hit the gym before my evening is over. That is my usual routine. The gym, kind of 8 to 9 at night is usually when I try to go. It just works well for me. It's kind of the end of the day. It's the way I wind down, and I actually get it done that way. So, hello, Jolene from Minnesota. I bet it's a lot cooler there than it is here. Man, it's hotter than you know what here. Hey, Corinne, I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. I will just give you a little visual of where we went last week. So, last Thursday, we did some Thursday night stamping. Hi, Kathy. And we basically cased a card from the catalog, made a few little changes. And this little guy was watercolored on watercolor paper with aqua painters, with stays on ink. We may go down that road tonight at some point, but I'm actually going to do some work with the colored pencils tonight. And we're going to watercolor with a blender pen, which is kind of it's a non-watercolor you get a watercolor look, but you're using a glycerin pen versus water. So we are going to get right into it. Now, before we get started, I am going to show you my card club at the end of the video tonight. But we have a big sale going on with Stampin' Up! And it's all these bundles, all the bundles that are another 10% off. I'm not showing any of that tonight because I got on a kick with this watercoloring and I just couldn't stay away from it. So I do have a little product list for you tonight, and that is just to help you, just to help you with, and to help me if you're asking about something in particular. So this is a stamp set in the new annual catalog, and it's in the section that talks about watercoloring. Let me see. Aha. And it's because it's ideal for watercoloring. Having said that, the artwork is kind of a pen and ink style art, and very much lends itself just to really simple stamping. Yeah, Jolene, so you said it's cool and windy today. Oh, how nice. Oh, well, your AC quit earlier in the week. God help you if you were in Texas and that happened. Hey, Jackie, I'm glad you're coming to see us from Nebraska. So welcome, welcome. Okay. I love this artwork. I love the three very simple greetings. Really pretty. This is very classic, and I tend to really like classic. So we're going to go simple tonight, and we're going to learn a little bit about watercoloring with blender pens. And I've got this up here. I will tell you that we are in a pre-order period for demonstrators. This glass mat studio is coming back. So for demonstrators, we can get it now. This glass mat studio was all the rage during Celebration, and it comes with this lovely silicone kind of a divider mat, and it also comes with this very nifty cleaning cloth. Now this is damp. I will say I was going to get the Goo Gone out and everything today to clean this, but it comes out pretty good with just that little cleaning cloth. Now I'm going to start with using the Memento ink pad, and we're going to start with just a simple pear is what we're going to start with, the big image. And then we're going to do one of these as well. You know, pears come in numerous colors, and I actually think that this really lends itself to our note cards and envelopes. Now, these basic white note cards and envelopes, they are still only $10. It's an incredible deal. They are made of our thick basic white cardstock, and $10 gets you 20 cards and envelopes, and they're already scored. I mean, that's a pretty incredible deal. I think they're also really nice sized when you want to just write a note. You don't want to write a lot. And of course, the canvas is a little bit smaller. I'm going to move this over here for now. And one of the things that I like to do when I'm using these is, let me go ahead and, where's my bone folder? Let's see. Of course, I can't find one when I want one. Let's see. These are the finished size is 5 by 3.5. Now, this will mail for a single stamp. The only challenge I find with these is that if I start stamping on this and I mess up, I have to toss the whole thing. So I like to cheat, and I like to create a little piece that I'm going to put on top here. Now I'm using the thick basic white cardstock, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to be using, oh, this was right in front, I had one right in front of me. I'm going to be using this blender pen, and this is really great for faux watercoloring, I like to call it. However, it will pill the paper if you use basic white, if you're coloring a lot. Now, this is a large image. Grab this. This is a large image. And so I find that if I'm going to do this much coloring and I want to blend my colors, I do better on the thick basic white cardstock. Now, if I mess this up, of course, I can just put another panel on here instead of having to throw away the entire card base. So that is my top tip. And I'm going to start just by using the Stays On ink. And honestly, Stays On ink, that's not what I wanted to start with. I wanted to start with Memento ink. Let's hope I haven't messed it all up. This is such a beautifully detailed image. And you'll note that this stamp set is in cling rubber. You cannot get that kind of detailing in photopolymer. We love our photopolymer, but there are limits to what it can achieve. Now I'm using an extra large block because I tend to like a little bit of extra block around my stamp. I know some people like to have it where it's really close, but I personally like to have a little bit of extra room around me. Hey Lena, welcome, welcome. Long time no see. For those of you who are sharing my video, I really appreciate that. Look at that. I mean, isn't that not just classic, gorgeous? It's like a pen and ink drawing. You don't even need anything else. But of course, we're stampers. We're going to add a few more things. But we're going to keep it really simple tonight, and we're going to really focus on the technique of watercoloring. Now, I am going to add a little greeting under here, and I'm going to put just a note. All the greetings in the stamp set I really do like. So, just a note, and I'm just going to center it under the pear. Okay, pears come in lots of colors, and I have pulled out of my pencils various shades of greens and oranges and yellows. And let me show you. This is the way I keep mine. So there is a watercolor pencil number 1, and there's a watercolor pencil number 2. So somehow this was not coming through all the way. I think there's like 18 in this set and 13 in this set, or maybe it's 16 and 13. Anyway, I just put all mine together. And the first one, if you're just starting out, this is good. Oh, there it is, $18 and $14. But I think they're like, anyway, the number of pencils, it didn't print for me. Oh, it doesn't actually tell you here. I like to just use them all, so I just throw them all in together, and then I pull out the ones that I think I'm going to use so I don't have to riffle through the whole thing, you know, every time I'm doing that. Now, I am going to pull out just a little bit of this Coastal Cabana, and I'll show you why. Okay. Well, Kim, I'm sorry your internet is cutting out on you. That is no fun. It happens sometimes. Now, I will say I do like to make sure, even though your tuxedo, your Memento ink dries quickly, I like to really make sure. And of course, I've been jabbering, so I'm pretty sure that it is nice and dry. So I will start. Now, I'm going to start by doing the leaf. The leaf, I'm going to just make a basic green and go to town on the actual pear. So this is garden green, and I'm just going to scribble some down. And then I'm going to put a little bit of old olive to kind of, you see how that's kind of muting it? And then the reason I brought this out is if you ever want to make your green a little bit more blue, you can just add the blue and it will become a more bluey green. And then I'm just going to bring all those colors together with my blender pen. That just blends it all out ever so nicely. So I don't have any streak marks, but I've blended 3 different shades so that I've really created a more complex green than if I just used the one color. So now I'm going to really have fun because I'm going to start doing my pear. Now, I'm going to do a traditional green pear, and I say traditional. A lot of pears have reds and oranges, and we're going to do that in a minute. But I'm going to start with, this is, I believe, Daffodil Delight up at the top, and I'm going to do a little bit down here as well. And then I'm going to do Crushed Curry, and that's going to give it a little bit more of a deeper golden hue. And then I like this Granny Apple Green. This is going to be a really good color for my pear. And you see how I'm just scribbling it down. I'm not trying to blend everything yet. And here is my old olive, and I'm going to actually bring this more over here where the artist has already given me some shadow lines. And I'm going to scribble a little bit in the middle again. And that's probably all I'm going to do, because now I'm going to take my blender pen. And I personally like to use more of a circular stroke. Let me grab a little bit of, you need a little bit of scrap paper to clear your blender pen. So I'm going to start up here with the yellows, and I'm just going to blend the yellows first. And now watch, when I clear that, you see how that's got color on there? Because I want to come into these greens, and I want to capture all of these greens together before I start mixing with the yellows. And you see how that old olive over here mixed with all of that nice pen and ink is giving me that really nice look. So even here, when I haven't really done a lot, I mean, it's just in a couple of seconds, I'm done. Now I am going to take my, where'd it go? I'm going to take my early espresso, and I'm just going to do the stem here. And I'm going to do this under here too to create that little bit of shadow. And I think I'm pretty happy with this. I'll add just a little bit of this garden green right here, and you see how right away how that's brightening things up. And again, I'm just going to lightly blend it, little circular motions. Even with this thick, this thick basic white, it's not pilling or anything. If I was using basic white, it would start pilling on me. So let me just blend this out too. and my stem. And that looks like a little work of art that I can pop right there. And I mean, that is the essence of simple stamping. It's stamps, ink, and paper. That is it. Now, what I do like to do here is I'm going to grab some dimensionals, and that is going to give me that look. Oh, I have a stamp that's the stamp I was missing from earlier. This is a great note card. Like if I wanted to send a note card to my brother, this is a great one. It's a pear. It's very, it's a piece of nature. It's what artists have been painting for centuries. And I have created my own little work of art with penciled pear. So super simple, very practical. Really easy to make a set of these for a gift. And again, I could send this to my brother. I could send this to one of my sons. And of course, I could also send this to any of my friends. My high school choir director is still alive. She would love, she's a fine arts lady. She would love that. I mean, that is just simple. It looks like it belongs in a museum. So simple, pretty. Now, I wasn't going to, but maybe, if I wanted to add a little something here, let's see. Oh, I thought I had some of those sequins handy, but I don't. I do have some of these because I thought, if I wanted to add just one of these little gold pearls. So let me show you here. Let's try one of these little gold. So this is what they look like. These are the blooming pearls. Love them. These were part of our spring catalog and they carried over. And all I have left from this package are these little tiny gold pearls. And I could just do this. And that gives just a little bit of oomph to my card. But I mean, this is the essence of simple stamping. And I've blended my greens, blended my yellows. So I have a really harmonious look, and I didn't use my blends markers. That would take like 5 sets of blends, which are $10 or $11 each. So we get spoiled with the blends because they're so quick, but they are, you know, a little bit more pricey. And I can get all of these pencils, 2 whole packs for, let's see, 1 pack is 18 and 1 pack is 14. So yeah. And they will last you for years and years. These are also really nice to work with children. So if you like to stamp with your children, your grandchildren, this is a great medium for them to use. Okay, now let's try a little different colorway. And then we're probably going to break out the water before all is said and done. Now I'm going to take another one of these panels that I cut. And this time, I am going to do my card going this way with this lovely little set of pears. And let's see. Oh, thanks for being you. Let's do that. And let's make different colored pears. That'd be kind of fun. Okay, so let's start with our stamping. And here is our tuxedo black ink. And I think we will put this, let's put this up here, because I think I'm going to bring the pears down towards the bottom. Okay. And, you know, Lena was here working today. She worked like a workhorse today. We got a lot done, very productive day. But I told her, I said, you know, I tried out the top of a pear. And that was all the preparation I did, because when I really prep for one of these Facebook Lives, it just does not go well for me. I do my best work kind of organically, flying by the seat of my pants. I have an idea where I'm going to go, but I need to kind of do it as I'm doing it. Now, I will say the way I've inked this up, it's a little bit dark, but I think it's going to be fine. And I say that because, well, actually, these stems are, the stems are right. The stem in this one is drawn where you can put some color. On these 4 little pears, they're not. So it's just going to give you a solid black image. Okay, let's get these stamps cleaned. And I'm going to get my other Stays-On pad because I think we are going to go with a little color. Watercolor, and one of these I inked up last time, and I don't want to have to do that again. So let's just give this a peek to see which one of these is nice and inked up. Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay, that's the one. Okay, if you were here with me last week, you'll remember the major epic fail I had. Several, but you know, the good thing is it saves you from having those epic fails. I make the mistakes so you could hopefully have great success. Okay, now what I want to do here is, because I have 4 different pairs, or 4 pairs, they all look the same right now, but I want to make them a little bit different, and because I've got this Thanks for Being You. So I think what we're going to do is let's make 3 green pairs and 1 that's going to be more on the red side. So I'm starting out with Old Olive, and I'm going to put this one with the reds and the oranges. And we're just going to build up some color here. Make sure I don't color the wrong one. And again, I'm going to put these 2 darker. I'm putting the garden green and the Old Olive down there on the part where it has a lot of the ink drawn. And then I'm going to come back here with a little bit of crushed curry up here and down here. And then I think we're going to come back at the base with maybe a little bit of Old Olive. And then we're just going to blend it out with the blender pen. That's how easy this is. I'm going to clear it to make sure I don't have any color on it. Having said that, this is all just greens and yellows, and it wouldn't be a big deal, but I am going to get all of these greens done, and then I'm going to come back in here. You see all that green coming off. I'm going to come back in here to do the yellow, because I did want that yellow to stay a little bit of a golden color. And look how quick and look how easy that is. Now let's go for the unique one. So let's start with a little bit of yellow again. And this is Daffodil Delight this time. I only put crushed curry on the others. We'll do a little bit of both. And now let's try a little bit of Real Red over here. And let's try a little bit of Calypso Coral over here. That's probably a little bit bright for my taste. Because I want this to be pretty a ripe pear. So I'll put a little Cajun Craze. And now I'm going to start in the middle with these deeper colors. And then I'm going to blend that out into the yellow. I think I want... That looks like a D'Anjou pear. I think that's how you say it. I think it's looking really, really nice. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow here. Bring a little more yellow. And maybe just a touch more red over here. Darken that up a little bit. And a little bit more of this Cajun Craze over here. Yes, Kim, there are still 2 sets of pencils, and I'm using some of both. So I do like having, you know, not every Stampin' Up! Color is in there, but you can kind of make your own color. That's part of the point of watercolor pencils and part of the fun of them. So I'm going to put just a little bit of this Granny Apple Green right over here on the edge. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my little work of art, done and dusted in just a few minutes. So let's pop this onto my note card. Where did I, here we go. So you see how quickly you can make a nice little set of note cards, makes a great gift. Or if you're just wanting to make a simple, write notes to some people, Yeah, they are pretty and they are quick. You're right, Corinne. And I think this stamp set just really lends itself to that. I think this stamp set would also look really, really pretty if you heat embossed it. I think that would be pretty special. So that's it. I mean, we're going to put some dimensionals on the back, and I am going to put those little gold pearls, I think, are kind of a nice touch, just to give it, I think anybody receiving this would think it was really awesome. But we're so used to blinging everything up and putting lots of extras on things that I think most of my stamping friends would think, she left something out. Yes, the piece set would be great for this kind of coloring. That's a great suggestion, Corinne. So yes, the little happies. This would be the perfect medium. And you see how different this is from our Stampin' Blends as well. Again, which I am a big fan of. But they're much more saturated. And this is just as a soft, more artsy look. And this is what I'm building here. It's a nice little set of note cards. Now, where did my little gold? Let's see if I can locate my gold pearls. And then we're going to do a little bit of water with them. Ah, here they are. It's because they have this little clear backing. Okay, let's go one here, and let's go one here. And let's put one over here. Thanks for being you. So there we go. I mean, these just take just a few minutes. That is kind of fun, you know, thanks for being you, when you have one that would be a little bit different. Okay. Last but not least, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this image, even though I do have a couple of others, and I thought I might use one of them. And I think I might use It's Your Day instead. And let's see if we can make it happen with some StazOn ink on a piece of watercolor paper. Now I'll show you what I've done on this, if I can find it. Oh, here it is. So I've made a slightly smaller piece of the watercolor paper, still a little panel. Let's see if my pear is going to fit very nicely. Let's see if this StazOn is still inked up. Oh yeah, this has got a lot of nice ink on it. And I will say, StazOn gives you a really, really crisp image. So let's put this right on my watercolor paper, like so, and hope that I had enough ink on my pad that it's going to transfer really well. And again, this is cotton paper, so you really have to make sure that you're getting some ink action. Oh, it's come out really nicely, really nicely. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the greeting on there as well. Don't you think that looks like a little piece of art? I think it's incredible. Looks like one of those sketches, you know, or one of those little watercolor pieces that you find in a tourist shop or something, you know, where local artists are showing their handiwork. Okay, now let's just kind of make sure that's all the way dry. And while that's doing, I'm going to go ahead and clean my StazOn ink off of these. So you remember from last week that well, I don't see my StazOn remover. Let's see. A lot of remodel and repositioning and reorganizing going on, and let's see if where did I put it? I put it back in the medicine chest. I am so paranoid of this stuff because it's really, really powerful, and even though I don't have a wooden table up here, I have stripped wood off things in the past, so I'm a little leery. And I'm going to get my see all that that's coming off? And that would not come off. If I just used a Stampin' Scrub or a chamois, this would not come off. You have to have the Stays On cleaner to get the Stays On ink off. You know, another thing I was going to mention, and maybe we'll work with it in the next week or two, we actually have a Stays On brown ink, and it doesn't get a lot of notice. It is gorgeous. It's kind of a saddle brown and really nice. You know, the other thing you can do with the Stays On is you can stamp on coasters, you can stamp on window sheets. So you can actually do more than just watercoloring. So you can stamp on porous surfaces, and it will stay because it's a permanent ink. Okay, I guarantee you my ink is dry, and I'm just going to clean my stamps completely so that when I'm done, I can put these stamps away and they will be perfect for the next time I'm ready to use them. Okay, now I'm going to probably need one more tissue or one more, what do you call it? Paper towel. But we will start anyway. Now, I have my water painter. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my paper a little bit. Now, this is going to do two things. It tells me that my Stays On is staying on. It's not smearing. I can tell that it's wet. You can see the ink, or you can see the water, and it's not smearing the ink. So that's a very good thing. But I find that this really helps when you go to add your color. To make sure it comes down really well. Now, Kim asked a great question. She said, will Stays On Cleaner work on the Mento ink? I don't actually think it will. I think it might, well, let me put it this way. Anytime I've had mucky cling rubber stamps, Stays On ink will lift any kind of residue that's on here. So it is useful for that. So if you have red rubber stamps, cling rubber stamps that are stained, the Stays On remover, the Stays On cleaner will take that off. And what I find is if I leave it on there for like 2 or 3 minutes and then come back to it, it will really lift that old ink off of there. So, okay. So let's see, do we want another green pear or do we want to go more of a red pear this time? We should probably go with a more red pear this time. So, I haven't done this in a long time, so we're hoping this all comes out well. So let's start with Cherry Cobbler over here. And this color is, you see how much, it's just really laying it down nicely. It's coming so nice. Now I'm going to come with Real Red right behind there. But again, this is much paler than when I was using ink on here. And I think I want a little bit of orange up here. That's pumpkin pie. Oh, that's looking very tasty. Very yummy. We'll add some more Real Red. And let's have, where'd that Calypso Coral go? Here we go. So yeah, your Stays On cleaner actually is very useful. You can do a lot with it. As most of our stamping products, you know, sometimes people balk at the price. I mean, they're artist supplies. You're buying artist quality supplies. And so I think you have to bear that in mind. And just recognize that they're going to last you for a long time and you'll really enjoy using them. Whoopsie. Okay, now I'm just going to blend this out with the water. And this is going to be a little different look than, and I guess I probably should have done side by side the same color, which I didn't do. But you can see how the reds are kind of blending like that. And it's coming up around here. And this is looking like a very nice, juicy pear. It's probably needs a little bit more red to it. You can really see the reds over here. Not as much over here. The Calypso Coral is quite pale. Now, let me show you the other thing that I can do. This is a piece of basic white. I can also take a little bit of, let's say I want to add some more of this. This is real red, and maybe I want to add a little bit of the, not the espresso. I want to add a little bit of this Cajun Craze. So I can actually add it over here, and I can pick it up here and add it here. You see how that's picking it up? Just like an artist palette. I can pick up the ink over here. It's watercolor pencil, and I can pick up some of this Cajun Craze and add it right in here. And I will also say, again, just like the watercoloring we did last week, and this is much larger image than our little ducky, this really does make you feel like an artist. I mean, it's just fun. It's super fun. I guarantee you that when you give this to a friend, I got out of line a little bit right there, but you know, it is handmade, it is hand painted. You really do feel like an artist, and there is a sense of real pride when you give something like this. So I actually kind of like that. Let's play a little bit. If I want to deepen the color, what I can do without really like overpowering it. Where did my cherry cobbler go? Here we go. Oh, that's what I was already using. I thought I was using real red. Oh no, that's cherry cobbler right there. You see the difference? So I'm going to pick up some of this cherry cobbler. Oh, look at that vibrant red. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it. Love, love, love it. Oh yeah, see that's, I wanted it a little deeper color. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the, the leaf. And then I'm going to come back and add a little bit of yellow, and we'll see how that goes. I don't really know how it's going to go, but I'm hoping it's going to go well. So let's do a little bit of just classic garden green on the leaf. That's a nice contrast. And I think I'm going to bring a little bit of this real yellowy Granny Apple. I kind of like that. I think that's a good mix of greens. And again, I'm just going to blend it out. Now I could, speaking of yellow, I'm wanting to bring a bit more yellow into my pear. I think I'm going to bring a little bit of yellow into the leaf as well, or maybe I'll do a little bit of brown. Maybe I'll put a little bit of brown on that leaf. Let's add a little bit of brown up here. Oh yeah. That actually is what we need to do right down here. I've got Early Espresso pencil here. And let's try bringing in a little bit of the daffodil, or maybe we want to bring in a little bit of, of the crushed curry. So let's just try them both. And again, they're much softer than your blends markers. You know, this is really, really soft. And let's just see if it's going to show up, or if I've got so much color on here that it may not really come through. Actually, it is. I'm going to hold it up so that you can see it as well. Oh my gosh, this is really kind of fun. Yeah, it's really produced a little bit of a golden hue there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really coming out nicely. So this was my practice. That's what I did for my practice. I was just thought, well, okay, let's just make sure everything's working as I intended. That's my practice piece right there. Now, I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of extra water here. I'm going to come back in here and pick up that little bit of Early Espresso and bring that down, because I want it to look like my leaf is, you know, this has already been picked. So I want my leaf to be turning a little bit brown, because my pear has become very, very ripe. Now, this is what I had thought I would put it on, and I think that might look pretty good. Maybe I should have put red. What I did was, when you're using the watercolor paper, it's just a slightly off white. It's kind of an eggshell white. So when you go to put it onto your basic white note card, it's a little bit off, and it kind of bugs me. Actually, I probably should have just put black. Black probably would be better. Let me go cut black. I think this is going to make it a little bit too much color. Let me cut a little bit of black. Let's see. Do I have a piece over here that's wide enough? I think I do. And my scraps. Let's see. Is that wide enough? Oh, not quite. Not quite. Although that might look kind of cool. Let's see. Oh, what do we think about that? Oh, I think we're going to do that. Okay. So this piece here, let's see. I think it's 4 3/4. Let's move the pencils out of the way. Clear the decks a little bit here so I can get this, get my trimmer going. Oh, I got it right here. So that is, yeah, that's okay. So it's 3 inches wide. Oh, this is what I was wanting to do. So that is 2, 3. Yeah, it's 4.5. So I want this to be, I'm just going to leave this the width that it is. And I'm going to cut this at 4 5/8. Let's see, 4 1/2, 4 5/8 is right there. And let's do something, instead of making a perfect mat, we will make it a little bit unexpected. Lena and I were talking about that in the studio today, how sometimes it's nice to have a little unexpected touch. And I think that's especially true when you have really classic images like this. And we're going to put black, but you see, if we do it, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it. That's what we're going to do. So that we have basically like a triangle. And let's just do from there to there. And we'll have just a peak of black, but not a perfect frame of black all the way around. And I will say, with regard to black as well, oftentimes a little bit of black will just ground whatever it is you're working on. You're looking at something and saying, you know, it needs something. Sometimes it just needs a little touch of black. So that is going to be my little touch of black. Probably shouldn't have cut it quite so close there, but we're just going to go with it. And I will say I do prefer to use the Seal Plus with the watercolor paper. And I really don't like using liquid glue with the watercolor paper because it's liquid and, you know, you're wetting the paper essentially. And I personally do not like to do that. So there we go. And then we're going to pop this whole thing up on dimensionals. I'm digging it. What do y'all think? Do you like the little black corners basically that I've done? Although this needs to come down just a little tiny bit. I think I didn't get it quite. My mat on the side is a little bit more than the mat at the top. So let's do it like so. I have some kind of a little gnat flying around that's rather annoying. Okay, so let's pop this up on dimensionals. They are here. And okay, people are digging the black. I'm glad you are liking the black. And again, you know, this is just one of those very classic stamp sets. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. And makes me think of an art gallery. So when I give this to somebody, and I think if I were to give this to a college student, I think they would go, cool, you did that? That's really amazing. And I think if I gave it to someone who is a senior citizen, older than me, senior citizen, I think they would just be touched by the classic imagery. So I think that, you know, men and women of any age would really, really love this. I'm not totally sure I like that little corner down there, but we're just going to go with it. because it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that's getting popped up on dimensionals. So we used the watercolor pencils with watercolor paper and water painters. Let me bring this down a little bit on this card here. Ay, ay, ay. Come on, work with me, work with me. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to add the gold pearls to this one. We'll see. And let me just clear this a little bit. We used the watercolor pencils with a blender pen on these cards here. I don't know, maybe I should add the, well, I can put them on there and see what we think, and then remove them if we want to. Let's see, can I find them? They're tiny, and they're on that little clear piece of plastic. Ay, 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 where are you? Well, you know what'll happen as I start cleaning up the pencils, we'll find them. Well, I'm glad you guys are liking these. Ah, there they are. And I hope more than anything that you've picked up a few tips about watercoloring. Now, I have a little smudge here, and I'm just going to take my eraser and get that off. So hopefully you've picked up a few tips and tricks and feel empowered to make your own watercolor cards with just watercolor pencils. These are done with the blender pen, and you know the blender pens are super reasonable. I think you get 3 for, oh, I've got my little sheet over here. I think you get 3 in a package. Oh, they're $14 now. They've gone up a bit. $14. They will last you for years. And there's a glycerin compound in here, and that's what keeps it just a little bit moist and allows you to blend your colors. I didn't even put on here the watercolor painters. I think you get 3 in a package, and I think they're a little bit more than the $14. Both of them are fabulous and will last you for years and years. But hopefully, if you are feeling like you want to get a little bit artsy, then you will try your hand. And I do think that this stamp set is really pretty. What would happen if we put them right on the pear? Let's see if we like this or not. Ay, ay, ay. Well, here we go. That little gold guy right there. And then maybe one down here. I don't know. I'm not sure if I like them or not. I think it's good either way. So as I am winding down, once again, this was not a 30-minute Facebook Live, which is more my jam. I usually like to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. But when you're doing watercoloring, I think when you're teaching watercoloring, it takes a little bit longer. But, you know, these really just take minutes to put together. But I do have a host code here for you. And you can go to shopwithcandy.com or you can just go to Stampin' Up.com. If you plug in the host code, it will automatically bring you into my order. And just a reminder, we've got just a few days left where you're going to get a half a pack of this super fun Lily Pond Lane Designer Series paper. It is so fun. And we have been prepping up a storm on these cards. So I've got 2 fun folds for you, and then we've got pretty much use all the die cuts. We pretty much use all the stamps, and we go from super simple to, well, these are my super simples, and then this is obviously a little bit more glammed up with all the dies. And look at that little froggy. So he's done with the blends markers, and then last but not least, we have our little duckies. You can stamp and color him and cut him out, or you can use the die cuts. And you do get a full roll of this ribbon, which is unorderable, but I was a smart girl and ordered them ahead. Well, because I knew this is what I was going to use for my card club. And then these dots. So these are the dappled dots. Again, they are on unorderable status right now, but I do have enough for my card club members and for a few extras. So if you would like to jump into that, it is a great value, and I would love to have you on board in my stamp club. Thank you so much for tuning in to another installment of Thursday Night Stamping. And this one was with penciled pear. Thanks again for tuning in. Take care and God bless.